Hey guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So today I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of the Witches Runes Divination deck by John St. Germain. And this is 32 cards with a guidebook. This was sent to me by Artisan Tarot for my honest review. And so let's get started. I want to show you that they also sent me, and they sent me one the last time too. Oops, I don't want to get too close. This is the 4th and 5th Pentacles of Mercury. And it's a seal of Solomon that they have on the website at Artisan Tarot. I'm going to put a link down below to this as well as this. However, what it says about this is, this pentacle is inscribed with the seal of the 4th pentacle of Mercury on one side and the 5th pentacle of Mercury on the other side. The 4th pentacle is used for fostering understanding, wisdom, and hidden knowledge. The 5th pentacle is used to metaphorically open and reveal pathways, doors, and all available options. This is slightly larger than a U.S. quarter, which makes it easy to carry in the pocket. The exact size is 28 millimeters by 2 millimeters. And I think that is really friggin' cool. As tarot readers, we want to be able to use the Mercury, which has to do with communication, right? And communications. And the 4th pentacle, which is for fostering understanding, wisdom, and hidden knowledge, which is another way that we use tarot and divination and oracle decks and witches runes. So I wanted to show that again. This is like really super cool. Now they've sent me 2 of them, so I decided to keep one down here where I do my tarot readings and one upstairs when I do my tarot readings, because who can't use that kind of help? I definitely can. So here's the box, and it's just a simple box, which is really all you need. This is what the Witches Runes look like. Can't remember if I put these back in order. I don't think I did. No. So let me do that right quick. Okay, so essentially it is 2 decks of the exact same thing, but so that, you know, there's more. Personally, I would probably buy one more kit so that there was 4 sets of these. I might do that, actually, because I like bigger decks. So this is what it says. It's got a witch's invocation. The sun is for he, the moon is for she. The stone marked with 2 is for misery. The spears that cross stand for strife. The interlocking rings are love for life. The birds bring news, the waves will gather, the branch for new starts that matter. The snake will deceive, the wind will relieve, the scarab comforts all who grieve. The tadpole is about conception, black and white tells you which direction, brown, most important of all, is you. Will I rise or will I fall? Okay, so let me go through. Like I said, it's just 2 of the same thing. So I'm just going to go through really quickly and show you all of the actual cards. And then I'm going to tackle the book and show you what it says in there. So we've got the sun for number 1. And there's 15 total. So there's 2 sets. Moon. TT. Whatever that means. We shall see. Spears. Rings. Birds. I have a set of Witches Runes around here somewhere. Little small pebbles. Waves. Branch. Snake. You know me, I'm a card slinger. I like everything better in cards. So this is perfect. Wind, But like I said, I do think I'm going to order another one of these kits. Well, I didn't order this. They sent it to me, but I think I'm going to order another one so that I have a deck with 4 sets. Scarab, Tadpole, Black, White, and Brown. So, let's see what the book says. So the sun. This rune shows a bright and radiant sun drawn in red and yellow. The sun represents a virile male, or the questioner if he is male. The sun predicts success, positive gain, and successful outcomes. This rune can also hint at recognition, honors, a promotion, or a successful year. You know, I'm not going to go through all of these. I wish that there was just simple keywords. This rune depicts the crescent moon, drawn in white and marked with 4 cross. Let's see, the moon represents a strong woman, or the questioner if she is female. The 4 crosses represent the 4 lunar phases. Okay. This sinister rune represents loss. Oh, it's an H. This rune shows a stylized letter H, drawn in 3 slashing strokes of red, green, and blue. This sinister rune represents loss, setbacks, grief, and misfortune. It is widely believed that the H derives from the Futhark rune Hagel, which can mean destruction, loss, and ending. Sometimes the runes around the H rune can mitigate the bad news. The sun might indicate a silver lining hiding within the clouds, while the moon predicts the hardships will pass within a month and transform into a much better situation. Sometimes the H represents hard life lessons or karma, and the only thing to do is grin and bear it until the difficult times have passed. Then we've got the spears. Sorry if I was out of camera. This rune features 2 spears, one red and one blue, crossed together in combat. The spears represent arguments, conflicts, disagreements, and battles. It can also predict a sudden disagreeable event and can literally represent the person arguing with the subject of the reading. This rune isn't always bad. If it lies next to a positive or lucky rune, it can presage the ending or conflict. If it's next to the rings, it can predict reconciliation. It can also advise endings, ending a troublesome situation, or represent a call to action requiring assertive movement. Okay, so the next one is rings. This rune shows a red ring interlocked with a yellow ring. This ring represents marriage, union, and partnership. It can suggest contracts or agreements of any sort, but most often it relates to love matters. This general idea conveyed by the 2 rings is interconnections, commitments, and cooperation. When it appears in a reading, look for convergences, shared responsibilities, and common interest. If the rings are next to a negative rune, such as the H, it can refer to an entanglement from which it will be difficult to extradite yourself, no matter how much you resist. Then we've got the birds. This rune depicts a stylized drawing of 3 flying birds, blue, black, and red. The birds warn that unexpected news is coming. If the birds are near the subject, it can be urgent news. Look to the runes near the birds to see if this news is fortunate. Other runes near it can indicate what kind of news to expect. In a broader sense, the birds might indicate gossip, small talk, social media, or conflict surrounding the subject of the reading. If it's next to the spears, expect evil gossip or contentious news. If it's next to the sun, expect an excellent surprise. So we've got the waves. So, you know, I'm not going to go through and read every single one of these. You get the idea. It's no different than doing, you know, it's another divination system. But I do want to read what it says about it. It says the Witches Runes Divination deck consists of 2 sets of 16 cards. Each set contains 15 cards with stones and 1 card with a poem. You will only need to use one of these sets for the readings outlined in this guidebook. You can either keep the extra set as a backup or use one set at home and the other at your practice. Originally, these runes were inscribed on stones and cast for readings. We created this deck to read the runes using cartomantic techniques. As such, this set of cards features depictions of the rune stones along with their corresponding names and numbers. Moreover, these cards are convenient to carry and easy to use. We base 3 cards on the set of rune stones known as the Witches Runes. The earliest reference to the Witches Runes is a wonderful book called Lid Off the Cauldron by Patricia Crowther. Published in 1981, she describes the Witches Runes in Chapter 12, Methods of Divination. A description of her 8 runes and their meanings is in the next chapter. In the early 1990s, Carl Heron, a mystic known as Brother Shadow, created handcrafted props for occultists. Brother Shadow made several sets of hand-painted, hand-finished witches' runes, which included a booklet called The Witches' Casting Stones of Bilitis. He didn't produce many sets, somewhere between 15 and 24, and every set was unique. Today, these are collector's items and fetch a high price if you can find anyone willing to part with them. Brother Shadow explained that he called his version Witches' Stones instead of Witches' Runes because, strictly speaking, the symbols weren't runes at all. Runes are letters from a group of alphabetical systems common to ancient Germanic countries, also known as the Futhark. However, Patricia Crowther referred to them in her book as runes, and the name has stuck. So runes they are, and runes they shall be. Let's call it an honorary title. I described my additions to the Witches' Runes in my book, Lithomancy, Divination, and Spellcraft with Stones, Crystals, and Coins. My version of the Witches' Runes, and upon which this deck is based, consists of the original 8 Witches' Runes, an additional 4 runes, plus a white, black, and brown stone for a total of 15 stones. I introduced these additional runes to include areas of discussion which, in my practice at least, are frequently encountered. I've also extended each rune's meaning to include topics and concerns relevant to our modern world and contributed my own ideas on readings. When you interpret the runes, there will be times that you read them singly and other times when you read them according to their proximity to other runes, how nearby runes affect their meanings. To better understand this concept, let's look at the meanings of the Witches' Runes and how to use them. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to go through and read each one of the meanings, but we can do a sample reading. I will say, well, no, I'm not going to do that. So, introducing the runes. In Brother Shadow's Witch's Casting Stone of Bilitis, he included a poem featuring the original 8 runes. I've slightly modified his poem and added verses to include all 15 runes. You may find this poem helpful in memorizing the runes and their associated keywords. Okay, so this might kind of help just having it close by. Following Brother Shadow's approach, I recommend introducing the runes individually while reciting the poem. Since the runes are unfamiliar to most people, this is a charming way to quickly introduce the symbols and their meanings. It also makes your reading more memorable and engaging. So I can go through and say, like for instance, the sun is for he, the moon is for she. The stone marked with H is for misery. The spears that cross stand for strife. The interlocking rings are love for life. The birds bring news. The waves will gather. Whoops. The waves will gather. These are so short, guys. Sorry. The branch for news starts that matter. The snake will deceive. The wind will receive. The scarab comforts all who grieve. The tadpole is about conception. The black and the white tells you which direction. And brown, most important of all, is you. Will I rise or will I fall? Okay. So that's kind of cool. So let's finish seeing what all this says. So that was the witches. How to ask a question. Theoretically, you can ask an oracle anything, but you may only get a helpful answer if you phrase the question correctly. It may not be enough to ask, will I be rich or will I be happy? Movies and other media have conditioned people to ask questions in this manner, which I have come to call the magic 8-ball format, because any answer will be unhelpful, often labyrinthine variation of yes or no. It's better to ask, what is my best and most effective path to prosperity? And what steps do I need to take to ensure a happy life? Sometimes a simple yes or no or outlook doubtful can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Such a dreary answer doesn't draw upon the fullest potential of the oracle or your capabilities as a skilled interpreter. Furthermore, an unelaborated answer can change the questioner's future because of how they respond to it. A no can discourage some people and cause them to give up, while a yes can have the same effect. Many people will assume that their desired goal is meant to happen, and they, too, will happily quit trying. It's more productive to phrase a question in a way that provides a course of action. If the questioner feels that their future is at least partially under their control, they don't feel quite as helpless against the forces of destiny and fate. Here are a few other examples of how you can structure questions. What do I need to do to reconcile with my lover? How do I proceed if we don't? What is the best course of action for me to take to get the best job? How can I maximize my chances to get this job? And where do I go from here if I don't get it? Questions phrased in this manner are dynamic, optimistic, and empowering. Questions phrased in this manner are dynamic, optimistic, and empowering. They give the oracle something to, I repeated it. They give the oracle something to address, and a meaningful dialogue between the questioner, reader, and oracle can ensue. Strategies for dealing with the future can be discussed, elevating the reading from mere fortune-telling to productive consultation. With all this in mind, sometimes a yes or no question can help you receive a definite answer. You may want a quick answer to an inconsequential matter to clarify your thoughts on a matter about which you've been undecided, or help you choose whether or not to proceed with caution, a course of action. I cover these types of questions in the reading methods section. So how to use the cards, reading methods, how to cast the cards. It says when you cast the stones, you shake them in your cupped hands and scatter them over a surface. Alternatively, you can shake them in a bowl and read them however they land. However you cast the stones, some of the stones will land rune side up and others will land rune side down. Often, one or two will land under the couch. Luckily, you won't have to worry about this with cards. If you want to emulate the procedure of casting with the Witches Runes cards, some landing face up and some face down, you can turn some of the cards face down and simply shuffle them into the face up cards. If you repeat this procedure several times, you will have a random mix of face up and face down cards that you can deal onto a table. The face down runes are the known unknowns. You know they're there, but you don't know what they are yet. They are mysteries yet to be revealed. The face-down cards are doors to be opened, opportunities waiting to be seized, and secrets waiting to be revealed. So casting with 4 cards. Here is a simple process that allows you to emulate using the cards as stones. First, remove the 3 blank stones. Then, take the remaining 12 rune cards and turn some face down and some face up. Okay, so let me do that right quick. So we're removing these, and we're just going to do like, well, I want to, oops, I really like the backs too. Aren't those pretty? Like every third one. I think I'll do upside down. That way they're not like all on top of each other. And then, okay. Now let's see. Now select 4 cards at random by closing your eyes and touching. Okay, so let's move this. So I'm going to go like this. Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes. I'm not looking. I'm going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, wow. I picked all 4 up. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Draw it out of the pile and place it to one side. Do this process 3 more times, placing the cards in a row from left to right as you select them. Now select 4 cards at random by closing your eyes. Draw it out of the pile. You should now have 4 cards with some face up and some face down. Okay, gather up the remainder of the deck and place it aside. All right, that's what I'm doing. This is, oops, off to the side, guys. Come on. All right, so these are the, whoops, these are the cards we got. All right, let's see. Now you can interpret the 4 randomly selected cards. Pay attention to the order in which you chose the cards, yep, and which ones are face up and face down. Example, question, my daughter isn't happy at her job. What's going on with that? So the questioner closes her eyes and randomly selected right. So the 4 selected cards in the row from left to right. So I got the sun, which that is masculine, right? So the sun represents a virile male, or the questioner, if he is male. The sun predicts success, positive gain, and successful outcomes. This rune can also hint at recognition, honors of promotion, or a successful year. The sun's powerful energy is the inner spirit, the life force itself, which radiates outward and empowers every activity. When in full force, all things are possible. When occluded or clouded, activity becomes difficult and energy is low. Just as all planets orbit the sun, cards that fall near the sun are especially affected by the orbital power of its influence and may find it difficult to escape its orbit. So right next to it, we've got the rings. And the rings say, the rings represent marriage, union, and partnership. It can suggest contracts or agreements of any sort, but most often it relates to love matters. The general idea conveyed by the 2 rings is interconnections, commitments, and cooperation. When it appears in a reading, look for convergences, shared responsibilities, and common interests. If the rings are next to a negative rune, such as the H, it can refer to an entanglement from which it will be difficult to extradite yourself no matter how much you resist. And then we've got branch, which is 8. Hopefully that's good because I haven't read that one yet. This rune shows a young brown branch sprouting fresh green leaves, growing in every direction. Originally, the branch depicted an ear of corn and represented the season of harvest. Unlike the H, which represents ruin, this most fortunate of runes predicts prosperity, happiness, growth, and luck. To a student, it means success at school. To an entrepreneur, it means their business will thrive. Current projects will bear fruit, and new friendships will flourish. If near the rings, it predicts a prosperous marriage. If near the sun, oh my goodness gracious, look at that. Next to the waves, a prosperous trip. So far, this is looking pretty damn good. And I mean, I've been married to my hubby for like 30 years, but we've been together for like 34, and I think it's going pretty good so far. Now watch that one not be good. Let's see, what is that one? Scarab. This rune depicts a blue scarab with a green eye and 4 red dots on the shell. Ancient Egyptians considered the scarab to be a messenger to and from the afterlife. It represents ancestors, the afterlife spirits, or intuitive messages. It may also hint at mysteries, secret societies, initiations, and magic. Look to the runes around it to glean further information. The scarab may be trying to communicate an important message. If near a negative rune, it can indicate past life, karmic, or other spiritual issues. In specific contexts, there might be secrets to uncover or mysteries to solve. If the questioner is trying to develop skills in the occult, they may be on the threshold of a breakthrough. Yeah. Well, I think that is a great reading to start off with for these cards. So there you go, guys. I can see how these are very similar to like reading, you know, runes or whatever. Oh, and you know what? I wonder why we didn't even get to those yet. The other cards. And let me put my glasses back on because remember it said to take out the black, the white. Oh, okay. It's because the black one, hang on. The brown one represents the questioner, material concerns, or physical matters such as health, security, or self-esteem. Right. And the black one is one of the three without a rune. It primarily gives a no answer. Okay. And this is, so a no, a yes, and the questioner court. That's why that they were kept out. Because this was already for me anyways. What a good reading that was. So I wonder what kind of mysteries the scarab. I do think that my husband and I were a contract, like soulmates, or we were soulmated because my son is in my 7th house of partners, of others. So I think it was part of my destiny this time around, in order to be in a relationship with my husband. That was all part of the grand scheme of things. So I feel like it just said that more or less. So this was really cool. I can't wait to try this out more. Have you guys ever used these kind of things before? I will say also, the first time that I got some decks from Artisan Tarot, they did not have nearly as many decks, but they have got tons of decks on there now. All awesome decks. There's many that I got my eye on. So go and check it out. I will put a link down below to this particular deck. And I'm also going to put a link to the 4th and 5th Seal of Solomon Pentacle. And just in general, check it out because their site is growing. They're adding more new decks from other creators all the time, it looks like. So thank you for spending this time with me, and I am sending you love always.